All right, ladies and gentlemen, our automotive enthusiast friends from all around this great big blue marble, you did it once again. You slipped, you fell. I don't know, maybe you did it on purpose this time, but no matter what, you hit the play button on yet another...
Kevin, another chalant episode of V8 Radio.
Chalant?
As in the opposite of nonchalant.
So, like, intentional?
Means to matter, yes.
It matters, darn it.
That's right.
Yeah.
We matter!
Well, this is the V8 Radio Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Ostie, joined as always by our esteemed co-host, Mr. Mike Huball Clark, and a very special guest this time, our lead parts guy at V8 Speed and Resto, Mr. Brian Wibbenmeyer.
Hello there. Special. That's a good adjective for me. I like that. It's been called that a lot. A lot of meetings there. But I matter. So.
You are chalant as well.
Mm-hmm. You matter.
Yes. And I'm going to nonchalantly usher us right into this episode with an expected activity, and that is, of course, our automotive-themed trivia questions that we do on all these shows. And because we are hospitable hosts...
And we matter...
We defer the automotive trivia question, the first go-around, to our esteemed guest.
Outstanding. Well,
special guest.
I have a multi-part, multi-step question here.
Holy cats.
That hopefully is not a repeat. And I'm going to preface it by saying I think it's pretty easy at the beginning. It may step up and a little bit at the end there.
All right.
Okay.
Never say that.
Maybe.
Never say it's easy.
So, I'm a bit of an amateur drag racer myself, and
as we will soon learn,
yes.
One of the major sanctioning bodies is the NHRA.
Mm-hmm.
What does NHRA stand for? The acronym, not their purpose in life.
Right.
Okay.
Is that part one?
That's part one.
Okay.
Part two, when was it formed?
Okay.
Ooh.
The year.
All right. You gotta. I'll be courteous.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, so NHRA, the acronym is National Hot Rod Association. I believe it was started, I'm going to go a little bit beyond the year, but it was started by Wally Parks. And I think in the year, I want to say 1955. Final answer.
Wow.
National Hot Rod Association, 1955.
Look at this guy.
Boom, bam, pow.
Yeah. All right.
Kevin.
Well, that's always the challenge with the three-dimensional guest trivia question, because if we have the same answer, I guess we both lose if it's not right.
I have tiebreaker too.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, you have a
Nice.
tiebreaker?
There's another
my
one there.
gosh,
All
so
right.
prepared.
Nice.
Well, I also agree it is the National Hot Rod Association. I'm going to say 1954.
Okay.
Ooh.
I do recall the Safety Safari, yes, started by Wally Parks.
Yep.
I think they had events going in 55, but I want to say the thing kind of started in 54. I do remember a 56 Chrysler, though, that was part of the deal, but that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say 54.
Do you want the bonus?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
He
why
does.
not?
Yeah.
I need it.
So, the purpose was the key there. What was the NHRA's purpose when they were formed?
Oh, the purpose was to get people to stop street racing, to be able to race in a safe, contained environment, so the police aren't busting kids and kids aren't getting, smashing up their cars and getting hurt and killed.
Sounds like a novel concept.
Yeah, how about that?
I guess so. I mean, it was promoted as a safe alternative to street racing, but I think the overall purpose was to elevate the image of hot rodding and grow the industry through events, through legitimizing this as a business in addition to just a hobby. And I think by promoting safety and that these events were in fact attended by law-abiding, upstanding young citizens, and not Hollywood's portrayal of hot rods to hell and all the rest of it. So the purpose was to make money. That's what it always is. So I guess
That doesn't hurt.
We'll find out on that one. But great question so far.
All right.
You don't have a third or fourth part.
I do
to that.
not.
Okay, good.
That's
All right. Okay, good stuff.
Just checking. All right. Well,
Great questions, by the way.
Yeah. Well, you're up, Mr.
All right, boys. In what model year did the Chevy Camaro receive the all-new LS engine?
Ooh.
In what model year?
I know how both you guys are such big fans of LS engines. Well, this goes to you, Mr. Wibbenmeyer.
LS. That would be right after the LT model, the second gen LT. They went to LS, I'm going to say in 1998
All right.
for Camaro.
For Camaro.
Okay. Well,
Mr. Ostie.
the LS engine, was that the question?
Yeah, when did the Camaro receive the LS engine? The all-new LS.
The all-new LS. That's the thing right there. Because we're not talking about...
I'm not trying to, hamstring you here. The LS1.
Okay.
There we go.
Right.
Okay. I was right where you were going.
Yeah, like a big block LS, like an LS5
Yes,
or LS6.
yes.
Because an LS6 was never in a Camaro, nor was a 5. So there was threw the big blocks out.
Correct.
I'm
not trying to be that guy.
So Corvette got the LS1 in 97, and the Camaro got it after, so I'm going to say 98 also.
All right. Final answer?
That's my final answer.
All right.
Boy, we're all in agreement on all these.
Duly noted.
Man,
Yeah.
maybe we should
Good
all work
stuff.
together. All right, well, I got one that's right up everybody's alley. Nice and easy, kind of the same thing. In what year was the very first all-wheel drive car? Bonus. Who built it?
The very first, well, you know what? We're going to defer to our guest, Brian Wibbenmeyer.
Hey, thanks for that. Appreciate that.
You know what? We're gracious hosts.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Why am I feeling this is something extremely antique? I'm picturing something in the Jay Leno collection, chain driven,
Ooh, chain driven.
way back.
Multi-chain.
Yes, multi-chain. Who needs a transfer case?
Yeah, right.
Well, this is going to go shot in the dark, and I'm just going to say, boy, 1917 Cadillac.
Ooh,
Wow.
Yeah, we're going old.
bam, that is old.
Yes.
1970, so over 100 years.
Yes.
Right.
That's impressive.
Is that your final answer?
That's my Price is Right $1 right there. Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
Lovely.
All right.
All right. So over to me. Okay, the first
All-wheel
year?
drive
First
vehicle,
all-wheel drive
car.
Production car. I'm assuming.
Car, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, production back then, in 1917, I guess the Cadillac was production. So,
Yeah, for sure.
and who built it for the bonus?
Oh boy. All right. What year? I'm going to say. I'm going to go. I'm going to go even deeper than Brian.
Wow.
I'm going to go 1911,
Oh man.
and I'm going to say
Same year as the.
Pierce Arrow.
Wow. So 1911 is your final Pierce Arrow.
Yeah.
Watch this be a fire truck, and you're right.
Right. No, want to be the AMC Eagle, 1979 or
The
something.
Spirit.
Yeah, the Spirit.
1911, not just an innovative year for handguns.
Yeah. Correct.
No, okay. Well, we'll find out at the end of the show. For those of you who stuck with us past the 38-second mark.
Yes. How about that weather?
So we've recently learned that our friends at YouTube have created a podcast streaming service where the way podcasts work in a very quick nutshell is you create this file and you host it somewhere, and then all of the podcast servers take it from that same host. So what that means is that if you're listening to this on Apple or you're listening to it on Spotify, they don't have the file in their thing. We do, and they're just
Correct.
handing it to you. And YouTube decided to hand it to people as well. And what YouTube brought to the table is some interesting listener metrics now that we can see. And we learned that on the most popular played YouTube episode was our recap of the Triple Crown of Rotting, which was a great episode.
Great episode.
Yeah, and it's got the most plays of all, because we just uploaded all of them. So they all started at 0 last week. for those new YouTube listeners, and they're riveted by this show because that number one episode is tuned out at 38 seconds by all of everybody.
Oh yeah.
Which, doing a little market research like I like to do, I listened to that and found out at 38 seconds was like, so the weather's getting nice. Yeah, it sure is.
Sure is, dude.
Done.
Oh boy.
So welcome, YouTube listeners. Well, you were out of here
Yeah.
10 minutes ago. I do have some correspondence that I wanted to touch base on. We got a listener shout out, which is pretty cool. This is from our friend Mr. Mike Foran, or it could be Foran, depending on.
I'll be Foran.
Probably. Kevin and Mike, I've been really enjoying your podcast. I've listened to around 120 of them going back to the beginning.
Wow.
It'd be great if you could spit them out once a day, since my drive to work is about 70 miles. What do you think about that?
It's more than mine.
Yeah.
We can make that part of my work day.
Once a day.
Once a day.
Yeah, okay. And Mark's favorite guest was Kelly, of course.
She's a great guest.
Everybody's favorite guest. His buddies and him got together and planned an eclipse for his birthday, because as we're recording this, we're coming up on the big lunar eclipse or solar eclipse again. And it's on April 8th, 2024, which is also my birthday.
How about that?
So he and I are both getting an eclipse for our birthdays. And he found out that was my birthday as well. And he said he thinks my buddies are in on this too. So he said, if they call you outside on your birthday to look at something, act surprised. But what was fun is a while ago we did a top 5 thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like top 5, just cool stuff. He shared his top 5. Number 5 is S550 Mustang. He rented one in Vegas, had to have it, drives it every day. Black EcoBoost 6-speed manual car.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. The number 4 thing that he digs, his other cars. He's got 10 different license plates registered. So
Holy cats.
There you go. Favorite car events, the 80 Nationals in Indiana. He's got an old GMC. McCacken and the Fall Carlisle. Number 2 on his list, the people you meet at car events, which I agree with.
Yeah.
Number 1, hanging out with my friends at car events and even grabbing a burger, talking about car stuff. So
Nice.
yeah. So I wanted to say thanks for tuning in and enjoying all those 120 episodes. Hope they continue. And he's talking about doing a visit. Him and his buddies coming down to the shop here in Redwood, Illinois, from Central Michigan. So that'd be pretty cool.
Nice.
Very good.
Yes.
And thank you, Mark, for listening for more than 37 seconds.
That's right. Well, we don't know if he did or not. But I will say that our shop, V8 Speed and Resto, is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 or so. And if you are in the area or planning a trip coming through the Midwest, come on by. You don't need to make an appointment. Stop in. We'll show you around. Maybe you'll meet Mark here.
Maybe.
He might still be here whenever you come this summer.
You'll definitely meet Brian.
Right.
I'll be here.
And speaking of Brian, so if Mark knows, as a longtime listener, we've mentioned Brian often on this show.
Yes, we have.
It's taken us a long time to get you on.
Yeah, I'm here a lot, but I'm usually, stuck in the office, researching, doing things, etc.
Brian's thinking to himself, all you had to do was ask, dummy.
Nope, we're good. It's a good time. I hide in my office a lot, though. Joe's the face. He definitely, yes. Kevin's the voice. Joe's the face. Mm-hmm. I'm the nerd in the corner.
I'm the ass.
The bottom side.
Yes. Yep.
So, Brian, your day-to-day is being a parts scrounger, I will say, and that's a positive term. I mean, you got a great ability to find stuff for people. And it's funny because we talk about the 25 to 35 cars that are always in process here at the shop, plus the additional ones that are on their way in. And looking at the workload, and of course we've expanded it to Mr. Q-Ball here and brought him on a year ago now, about.
Yeah, May 15th it'll be a year
to provide some assistance. But your previous life, I mean, this is a walk in the park.
Yes, yeah. Going back all the way there, yes, I've always been into this, this industry, etc. been an onlooker from the outside and not been, in there. But
A true industry guy.
I'm not the cue ball status, It's on a business card. What can I say, But, grew up, the father worked at a GM dealership, for 30 plus years. So I got it honest. That's why I definitely am GM loyal there to a fault sometimes. But yes, grew up. Always loved this stuff, hey, I want to work on cars when I grow up, et cetera. And, I thought about the mechanical engineer thing for a while. Like,
Is that
hey,
right?
yeah, like, hey, it could be a GM engineer. Those are cool,
That was a pretty good thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you grow up in the 90s and you see a guy named John Moss at the toy box,
Oh, yeah.
oh, my goodness.
For
that was
sure.
the dream right there. Yeah.
John-
Math class didn't go well. So,
Well, that was the awakening of the dream.
yes, that
right?
was
Yeah.
we better rethink this. So,
John Moss, of course, was GM's manager of special vehicles. And if you had the privilege of doing any of the hot rod power tours in the 90s or going to SEMA or any of those power festival events, GM was the big sponsor for those. And Moss, we affectionately called him Lurch because the dude's like 6'7",
huge.
6'8", and he was easy to spot in a crowd. And the fun thing about Moss was he was the guy behind a lot of those cars that landed on the cover of Hot Rod that were never production but built with all GM performance parts. So like, do you remember the green Monte Carlo?
oh, yes.
Rear
Yep.
drive conversion, big block car, right? I
That
think.
was at a National Monte Carlo Owners Association event, and GM shipped that car in
There you
for
go.
us to oogle and look at. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, and Moss, was kind of an engineer type himself, and wireframe glasses, and his hair was kind of slicked back, and I've interviewed that guy many times over the years doing TV stuff, and it was always cool to talk to him, and because he was like 9 feet tall, he'd always like look at the horizon when you're interviewing him. So it's like, oh, okay, Mr. Moss, tell me about this car, and he'd be like, well, so we decided to put a big block in this thing. And I'm like, no, down here, pal. My eyes are down here. So that whole scene was an inspiration for you.
Absolutely. Wanted to build cool stuff with GM parts. I mean, heck, who wouldn't,
Man, the guy bleeds GM blue.
Chevy orange, not much of a corporate blue guy, but just paint it black. You don't see the oil leaks in. It's fine.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Small block Chevy guy.
Great
So
point.
it's going to leak.
Yeah.
It's going to leak. Anyway.
And if it's not leaking, it's out of oil.
That's right. Rev it higher. It'll be fine.
So,
But,
and growing up with your dad and your brother too, a family of enthusiasts.
yes. My brother is also. We do this on weekends yet. We still play in the garage there. He's got a corporate gig. He likes to the cleanliness side of it. Hey, let's clean this up while we have it off. Well, that's fine. I'm trying to beat it straight and put it back on. He's like, how can I clean this off? Can I do this? Okay, fine. So it's a good match. It's good, yin and yang there. He keeps me honest, and as I'm going off the deep end sometimes. So yeah, it's a good deal. But no, I went to a tech school. Went to Natural Auto Diesel College. Decided to go work on vehicles. Went to a truck shop and spent 20 years in the truck side of it there at a dealership. In the service department, working on trucks, and went in the office. And as I say, I traded the physical stress for mental stress for the customer service side of that industry that is a constant uptime.
Right.
If the wheels aren't rolling, it didn't make any money.
Right.
So,
And we're talking about a huge volume shop.
oh yes, yeah. It was repair order wise. If we were under 100 repair orders at a time, we were slow.
Holy
Open
cats.
24/7.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yikes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Yes.
thanks. Holy
100
oh, my
repair
word.
orders at a time of vehicles that are on the clock.
Yes. From the time they're hooked in, the guy holding the steering wheel, the driver who may or may not own the vehicle, and the person who is waiting for the contents in that trailer are all on the phone going, when am I going to have my stuff?
Yeah, I
So
get it.
It was fun. Let me tell you. Yes.
Well, so I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize that if a truck breaks down, yeah, there's stuff in it that needs to go somewhere.
Yep.
So today we're in this world of, you buy something on Amazon, you darn near get your delivery driver's Facebook page,
Yeah.
pictures
Right.
of them and the real-time tracking and all that stuff, and everybody wants to know, and nobody has any patience. So that had to have been.
There's a lot going on behind the scenes to get your Amazon package, to get anything shipped from anywhere. Yes. So yes, that
Quite a hustle.
Yep. But COVID kind of put an end to that. And I was pretty well burnt out after 2 decades of that anyway. So then, luckily, this wonderful shop was ready to expand and bring someone on. So actually, I got to again give a shout out to my brother who found the Facebook ad.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yes.
All right, Kyle.
Yeah, Kelly clearly posted it the right way, the right place somewhere, and he sends this to me. He goes, "Hey, for a guy that can find weird things like you can, you should probably try this. This could be awesome." I'm like, "Redbud. Well, that's not close." But where I was going to, I was driving 57 miles one way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Another story behind that, but yes, I like living in the country. So working in the city was one thing, but I darn sure wasn't going to live there. So ironically, this is 58 one way now, so 1 mile more.
Yeah, but a little slice of heaven in between
my
your drive home and back.
I go the southern route, it's whatever tractor or, combine you get behind, etc. It's over the river and through the woods to get here. It's fun. It's a nice little drive. So, yeah, came over, said hello. Again, it's we'll go into that one there. That how'd you find this place? Well, I found it there, and then filled out the online application. And I say, well, a couple things here. It's the only time I've filled that application and put Power Tour and Drag Week on the application.
Nice.
There you go.
And they gave me a call.
Woo! See?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then went out to the garage and they said, hey, you should probably come by and take a tour of the shop, etc. Okay, great, can do that. And I said, the dream job, you drive your resume. So I went out and got my 88 Monte Carlo SS and made sure it was, had the dust wiped off of it. So let's go do this. This is our shot. So, had the Eminem song in my, head there. This is your one shot. Don't F it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, So, But yes, it's been a few years now. And yes, I'm finally in a groove, I should say.
You are, dude.
It was a little... I put that stress on myself. The same thing. The world I came from was there's very little margin for error, et cetera, et cetera. And when you come in during the COVID, it's like, well, when you're going to order things, again, that thing's shut down. Where are you going to get that? So there was definitely some stress there. But this is fun.
There's a lot to unpack with all that.
Sure.
You just shared there. But one of them is that I have to thank you because you just coined the phrase of a spin-off. This wonderful shop. But, so thank you for that. That was nice. I vividly remember, so at that point, we didn't have a parts person, manager, whatever you want to call that.
Changes were happening, and expansion and things. Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of left up to each technician to figure out what they needed and then find it, or a different administrative person who was also doing other stuff. And, this is how you grow. We just didn't know. And when you came in, I remember vividly the black 88 Monte Carlo that pulled up, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is cool, because as you guys both know, I have a soft spot. A buddy of mine had an 87, black one, and we had some great times. There's some video that we've done later that wasn't that car, but I tell that whole story in a YouTube video. So I'm like, oh, all right, this guy already has a little bit of an advantage, so smart thinking there.
It worked.
It worked, yeah. Well, I mean, it was part of it. You got to get past Kelly. You made it past me, no problem. But then again, seeing Drag Week and Power Tour, it's all about people who get out and do stuff. And it doesn't matter if you work in this industry. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're willing to put your own time and be passionate about it and get in it, that's how you get in it. So that was cool.
Yeah, I've learned a lot since then. That literally this industry it truly does. That several big shops and race teams, etc. They're really just looking for someone who has passion for this, that understands that this is a niche industry. But I mean, the people are great in it, and really, had I known long ago what I know now, I would have probably made the move or made a jump or made an attempt long ago. Yeah. So I. So Kelly had a lot. Said, "Why couldn't I just work here 20 years ago? Come on,
So you make that happen.
I'd have a lot less gray hair."
Well, and so you have been, really good at what you do, and taking that passion. And what's great is the instant identifiability of the need, because you've got a history as a technician, so the hands-on is there. So I think it's been a great match, and. when Kelly was going through the interview process, she's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "I almost felt like you worked here already."
Nice.
I'm like, "Oh, that's his office over there. That's where Brian works, right?" We need this guy, and it was just kind of a nice on-ramping blending. So I'm glad that your brother found that. And your brother, I feel like I owe him periodically, because when you guys do stuff on your own to benefit us, we'll go to an event or something, and your brother Kyle will just jump in the car and come with and help. And he's not even on staff.
Right.
It's like, it's great. So we appreciate all that.
He's a great help. Absolutely. Yep. So the real quick backstory, you're going to like this one, if you heard that one or not, was when Kelly called me for that initial phone call. Hey, I believe her question is, do you even know where we are?
Well, that's one of the first ones.
Yeah. Do you even know? Yeah. You're like an hour and 15 minutes from us. I'm like, ma'am, I'm actually not. I've been to the local car show on 4th of July in Redbud multiple times. I've driven past, there. So, and I'm used to, driving this far. So let's take the commute out of this equation here. I got that. I will commit to that. That's not okay. And then it was flip a switch and let's get right into it. And here we go. So,
well, I'll tell you what, we have interviewed people over the years who have said they have been in an opposite situation where it's, hey, I'm applying to this job. Oh, great. What's your background? I don't care. I live next door.
Yeah.
And it's close. So I'm going to work here. And it's like, ooh, that's not really a good match.
Maybe not, buddy.
And the other side is people who are interested, but they're just geographically too far away.
Sure.
And we had a body guy who was really good, did some great work with us, met Ellebrock. He's still a friend of ours. And he was literally living in Iowa.
Wow.
And he would come down here for the weekdays.
That's commute. Yeah.
And then go home for the weekends. And then it was like, are you sure, dude? And yeah, I'm going to make this work. And unfortunately, he eventually moved down here with his family, and they were not ready to transplant. So it went back the other way. And so that's why she asked you that.
Sure. Oh, I get it. It was very much a valid question.
Yeah.
She saw where I was and where the shop is. Like, wait a minute here. Is this guy, just wasting my time? Like, so I feel like I had to talk my way in a little further. But once we did, it worked out really well. So, yes, we're here. I'm enjoying it. Life is good.
That's a great thing to hear, man. See?
Yeah. Dig it.
Life's good, Q.
Life is good. Are you kidding me?
It is good.
Brian's taught me so much since I came on board here. It's ridiculous. All of his cheat codes and all of his easy buttons.
He's just getting started.
It's amazing.
So the other thing that you mentioned, though, is Drag Week.
Yes.
So we've alluded that you're the G-Body guy.
I am the G-Body guy here, yes.
On our staff. Take me through the Drag Week history.
Well, let's do the G-Body real quickly here. Then my G-Body, alliance is basically, I have 3 reasons. Pretty lame, but 1, I can't afford a 69 Camaro.
Sure, not a lame.
2, Dale Earnhardt drove a black Monte Carlo, one of the best looking race cars. I've been a huge Earnhardt fan. And 3, I still can't afford that 69 Camaro. So,
did you have number 3 stickers on your dailies? Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Back when, because I couldn't get a sign company to make one for the door in high school. So
did you have the Halo 3 also?
No,
when you passed?
I had a 3, and then I had a 2 for Rusty Wallace with a line went through it because he may have gone to a Ford while we were, in high school. So
oh boy.
So let me ask this, right? They always say those moments that mark history. Where were you when the Earnhardt disaster happened?
I can tell you, he finished 12th or he was 12th in points. I was watching and saw it, and it was an early out. They never said anything. So yes, I remember a lot about that day. And he had 7 championships. He needed number 8, and I was looking at the results, going, okay, we didn't do terrible here. We can still pull this out. Yeah. I was still going for the championship at the end of the day. Like, all right, it's all right. This was we good. We're all right. The DEI did 1-2. I see what he was doing. This is, yes. And then, a lot of things, it went crashing down from there. Figuratively, literally bad. But, local Kenny Schrader, great guy, has said a few words with Junior there. And,
it was interesting how they revealed that.
It was very interesting. I don't envy Mike Helton on that one at all.
No.
So
how about you? You remember when...
I don't, unfortunately.
I know you're not the world's biggest NASCAR fan.
Yeah, I used to like it, And I liked it back then. I just never got to watch it very often.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about it on the news, and then seeing the replay. And when I saw it on the replay, I was thinking to myself, that crash didn't look that too terribly bad.
No. Yeah.
It really surprised me that happened.
I was in the Hot Rod Magazine workshop in Van Nuys, California, working on the Galaxy.
Okay.
And I heard on the radio. So, interesting. So, not to derail that little story, but there's your G-body connection.
My
there,
G-body
one
connection.
of them.
So, my one of my best friends in high school ended up getting 85 Monty SS in black. And he was just a little older than me, so that was his first car. And again, once we decided that a Camaro wasn't in the cards there, I'm like, oh, those are pretty cool. So we got an 84 non-SS, complete project. How about that? It was a project.
Yes.
Yes.
It wasn't a hoopty.
No,
broke
not at all.
It's a project car.
It didn't have
Thank
air
you.
shocks and bald tires and no. 14-inch Americans on it, But yeah, worked through pretty much all the through high school with upgrading as we went, etc. But
you had other family members with G-bodies, right?
Dad always liked them. We wanted to buy one new, but didn't. But then through the years, Kyle's first car was he still owns it, is an either 88. That's also black. So
wasn't your grandfather?
My grandfather, there's that one. My grandfather bought a 1980 Malibu as a second car in 1990 or so.
Okay, so it's after you got yours.
No, way before.
Way before.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm old, just not that old.
Well,
I know,
it just threw me because you said your buddy had an 85, but he didn't buy it new.
Correct. He did not buy it new.
Gotcha.
So about 90, Grandpa he bought a 1980 Malibu, and he got a used car. Had several miles on it. It was just a car. It was going to be their second vehicle that sat outside. And I remember, I was well under the age of 15 yet, but I sat in the back seat for the test drive of this thing. And if 80s GM vehicles and the plastic panels back there and that greenhouse of fun, they all turned to sand.
Side panels.
So I remember touching these panels back there, going, "Ooh, what is this?" It's scraping the plastic off in 1990.
Wow.
So he owned it and was eventually done with it. But at the same time, my father again was like, "That's going to be the car someday." And I'm like, "You're crazy. This isn't got a V6 and 14-inch wheels. There's nothing special about this thing." You're like, "No, that's the last full frame." There it is. They came with a V8. That's going to be the car. So, all right. So I was 13 or so and stayed with the grandparents for a while. And Grandpa actually, it was the first car I drove, was that one.
Wow.
So he was done with it. Cool. And I bought it for a song and still own it. And
when you drove it, was this as an officially licensed driver?
Oh no, I was 13.
So you were 13 with your grandpa?
It was in the driveway, but it was still a started here, there. And this is awesome. This is not a lawn tractor,
Nice.
I can remember, the choke was on the two barrels. Like, don't let it get it away from you. I go, okay, got it.
So he was even.
Oh, he was in the car with me. Yeah, so I was ready to shut her down, if needed. But
well, then it's all legal.
But yes, I still own that car. That is definitely the heirloom vehicle. Don't tell the pretty cars in the family because this one's not painted, but that is the favorite of the family. Mm-hmm. So,
right on.
That's yes.
Well,
that's cool that you still have it.
Who can say they have the first car they ever drove?
Yeah, that's
not me.
So
just you.
It's It is the vehicle that I'll live in it before I sell it. So we may need to have an air freshener someday, but getting up close and personal with rear panels again. But yeah,
that's right. Isn't it funny that car was 10 years old and
already
disintegrating?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's awesome.
It's not acceptable anymore.
No. The outgassing of the vinyl and the carpet and
everything
the headliner's already flopping down. All the
different colors that are changing.
Yes.
Yeah. That velour felt headliner thing coming down. Yeah.
It had the tan interior. We've upgraded to the later saddle from an 87 Monty area. Mm-hmm. But I still refer to it as 50 Shades of Beige.
Yes. That's a good name for your race team.
Yes. Yeah. So that one again, V6. No options. Roll up windows, had AC, but slowly but surely, as in Monte Carlo SS land, it ventured into, now it's got SS suspension, used parts, total, what do you, we buy one, part one out, flip one, sell one,
Grassroots
etc.
effort.
And it has definitely come a long way. I've lost count of drivetrain components, etc. But currently it has a carbureted small block Chevy, 204R, that is definitely not stock to handle the almost 500 horse, 9-inch UMI suspension, some Borgeson pieces, you name it, etc. And it's fun now. So
It literally started off as a grandpa mobile.
yes,
6-cylinder, beige.
in drag week registration in 17, as I'm seeing, Mike Finnegan walk past me, just as he's, doing his own thing there. One of the registration guys like, man, where do you guys get, where do these freaking grandma cars come from? I'm like, this is actually my grandfather's car. Like, oh man, my grandpa gave me like an 86 Somerset. I'm like, oh, well, that's awesome. Thanks. Yeah.
On my dad's side, my grandfather never owned a car.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he lived in the city of Chicago, so he would take
really no need
take
to.
the L and take the bus and the streetcar and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uphill always,
But yeah, I've, it's a great car. And,
So that today is one that you race.
that is, and race as such, I take it down for laps, yes. It's not competitive, but it's fun to drive. It's fun to make, it runs low 12s,
Yeah.
It's the point, again,
That's fun.
Kyle's ultimatum and the family is I can't cut it up. So it can't get a roll cage in it. It can't get a bar.
Okay.
We're not going to cut it up.
So low 12s is where it's gonna
So
stay.
1150 is our absolute bottom limit legally. Okay. So we'll get there eventually, but it's a fun car to drive. Just jump in it and go. Steering brakes, AC, power seat, you name it. It's all steel. So,
Nice.
but it's a fun little car to drive.
Brian's the guy who uses all of his vacation time on car events.
Yep.
And I remember on Drag Week a few years ago, I was watching the stream, and you had that car, and I thought that there was a problem with the feed because I kept seeing the exact same pass over and over again, this exact same time, but it's Mr. Consistent over
Mr.
here.
Consistent.
Yeah, the first time, and then that iteration in 22, we pretty much built a bracket car. It was running 1250s in different air, in different days, in different states.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're clearly in the wrong class here. We could have. The problem is I can't cut a light. I'm just not that fast, so I'll get killed in actual bracket race. But it was a good. It ran good that year. It was very consistent.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you
It was-
remember the time slips, how consistent that thing was?
52 to 54. Yeah. And sometimes I had a couple 53s in a row. It was like, well,
1252, 1253,
This is me
1252,
just
1254,
manually
1253.
shifting for shift points, just to stab and steer,
Over
automatic.
and over again in different humidity, different states, different tracks, just 1252, 1253. I was like, what?
That's nuts.
It was cool.
That
Yeah.
is
It was a good
cool.
time, but yeah, that's a fun one. The Drag Week's is just a fun event. It's probably my favorite one, and I do recall again the interview process. And last time I was in one of these stools for 2+ hours during that. I won't call it an interrogation, just a good solid interview. It was like, look, what do you like to do? Like, I will use all my PTO on automotive events. This is why I have a very understanding wife who allows me to do this fun stuff. And it's
Did not lie.
no, nope. Hey, let's see what the schedule is. Hey, honey, I'm going to leave you for a week, maybe 9 days. Really? I'll be back. It'll be fine. Yeah, and roll out. So anyway, and yes, Kyle comes with me on a lot of this stuff. So it's my pit crew, my trunk monkey, if you will. You name it, yes. Yes.
Well, what's interesting too is, Brian is my barometer because he comes in and tells me what events are coming up and what this one's looking like and, the conflicts around the country and everything else. So it's not just Drag Week. You've been to all kinds of stuff.
I've been to a few things. We were, again, growing up, it was car show stuff. We take them on these places. So when Kyle and I would roll up in two, nearly identical appearing, black 88 Monty SS's, you would, I remember doing we would be at Minnesota Street Machine Nationals up there, or Carcraft up there, and make that lap, and the double takes you would get. There's two of them.
Yeah.
There's two of them. We actually put a GoPro in one of the cars one year just to see how many times. It was, oh man, look at that! Oh, they're twins. It was between that and getting flipped off, so it was like we kept a count between the two.
With, at least matching state plates.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. And at that point, we were both almost the same size. So it was like, "Are you guys twins?" I'm like, yeah, not yet.
No, but our cars are.
You look this bad. Now look at that. Yeah, but No, we've grown up. It was a Super Chevy show. Man, Memphis was almost our home track. Memphis, Indianapolis, Monte Carlo Owner Association events. Since Good Guys opened up their years allowed, we've been going to Good Guys events these past few years. Street Machine Nationals, DeCoin, not far away. You know, that I remember the old man taking me in at about '86 or so, and you know, back when it was wild.
Oh yeah, man.
And we would go over on Sunday morning. He wouldn't take me over on Saturday for
Oh,
the debauchery. So I would get to see the leftovers on Sunday morning.
Leftovers.
That's what it was, man. People are just face down in the street. And
I remember
burnout
more
marks.
than one person laid out wearing something. I'm not sure what they put, but on a C3 Corvette in a Walmart parking lot, just destroyed. Like, what is happening?
my
Oh yeah.
God.
We would go over on Sunday morning, walk through. You know, yeah.
That is awesome.
Oh, it was on back in
yeah.
those days. I think the first one I went to was in 90 or 91.
Okay.
And we were there for the whole thing. And for us, it was driving down from Chicago, basically. So it was a big drive to kind of get there and then do that. And one of the best stories, aside from the 6-year-old kid on his front porch on the road that comes in the back as you get in. They got some of them sporadic houses on the side there. And 6-year-old kid on the front porch with a giant sign saying, "Show me your."
Yes.
Attaboy.
Yeah, but I had a 72 Buick Skylark with a 350 in it, Buick 350, and some buddies of mine and I all piled down. We had a college roommate that grew up in Highland, Illinois, not terribly far from here, and we went Chicago to Highland, woke up early in the morning, drove down to DeCoin,
Nice.
did the day, and we're leaving in the giant cruise of cars, you know, up and down the state highway there, and all these local dudes are, you know, everybody's liquored up to the moon, and it's just sunburnt and hot and everything. And this one dude crawls out of his trailer, you know, and he's like, "Hey, do a burnout, you know, do a burnout." And they're all doing burnouts. And I said to my friend, I'm like, I don't know that this thing is going to do a burnout. This 350, you know, and there was 4 of us in the
There's
car.
4 of you in there. That's a
And
big
I'm like,
factor.
this could be a problem here. I don't know if we're going to live through this, because now the crowd's starting to get angry, you know. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And I foot on the brake, gas to the floor, start to let the brake up, and you know, it's an 8.2, you know, open Buick rear end in the back, and you barely hear the tire go. You know, like it's trying to turn, and this guy's like, "What do you got, a Ford motor in that Buick?" And I can hear him like he's in the room with us. And the solution was a whole bunch of guys said, "Pick it up!"
Yes.
And all these dudes grabbed the rear bumper and picked up the back of the car, and we made so much tire smoke. It was crazy. And then everybody laughed and had a good time. So yeah, DuQuoin back in those days was a thing.
Yes.
Oh my word.
Reminds me of a story my father told me when he went to a tech school in St. Louis in the early 70s. 63 Impala, 3 on the tree. And it was the same thing, you know. Hey, he was the guy, you know, that drove his buddies over to the tech school, and they all had their toolbox at that point they carried with them. So he's like, "Oh yeah, wanted to show off a little bit, dump the clutch, zing."
Oh no.
He went through multiple 3-speed transmissions.
No.
Doing that, was getting pretty good at changing them for a while, and then did a really good one, and it went zing. And he asked around, "Hey, who's got a 3-speed?" And the guy is like, "Hell, I've got one. It might be in my trunk." So okay, fine. Stayed home. Didn't go home that weekend. Put a 3-speed transmission in it. Fired it up. Let the clutch out. Still nothing. He broke the rear end at the same time.
Oh, nice.
man.
Yes, all with the 300 horsepower 327. Now, how much lower? Who knows, etc. But it was a good story. But yeah,
It was a good clutch.
it was a good clutch. Yes.
Yeah.
So Memphis, you know, the home track concept there, the Super Chevy shows and the street nats. What was the most fun for you guys doing those?
I hate to be that cliche, but the people that you meet, you know, a lot. Again, you go way back there. Dad had a 69 Camaro, an Olympic Gold. Might be one of my reasons that I have to have one someday.
There you go.
Could be. You know, one of my earliest memories in car land is when I was 8 years old, laying underneath, quote unquote, helping him put exhaust on it. And I'm doing the math. It might have been on my birthday. And I said, when I turned 16, I'm driving this thing. And he laughed at me. When I turned 16, he still owned it. He was out of town. and I cashed in I've been a good child all this. I drove
8 years of goodness. I'm going to
drove
burn
that
it all
car
right
that
now.
night. Yes. Huh? Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Mom, I'm leaving. No, you're not. Bye.
Oh,
and
boy.
I wasn't grounded when I got back because I did not race it. So,
wow.
but yes, yeah, but anyway, he got me started early on that one. In the late 80s, we went to Memphis. That was the first restoration of the house.
That was a pretty big restoration you guys did.
It was on. We never actually pulled it off the subframe, but yes. And looking back at the photo album on that car, that car was rusty by today's standards, and it was 86, 87 when he bought that because we started showing it in 89. I want to say.
Wow.
But again, when he was at the dealership, you need a hood today? Great, go get a GM one. Fenders, etc. He'd buy a panel a week.
Can you
Back
believe
when
it?
my
GM
gosh.
GM sheet metal, yes. GM quarters. What do you need? Let's do it.
Trim.
You name it. Yes.
Mechanical parts.
Absolutely.
When did all that stuff really start to go away?
Great question.
90s?
Yes, I want to say
You could still buy that stuff
You could
in the
still
90s?
probably buy that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, my buddy Jim did really well going to dealers, Buick dealers primarily, that were closing. And him and his dad would buy the warehouses, whatever you got, and then he would part out all the junk. And I remember he came home with a crate, not a crate, but a large box, right? So like a banker's box, file paper box, full of the light up Pontiac Chieftain hood ornaments.
Nice.
Shut up.
NOS new in the box. There had to have been 40 of them in there, right? So you get a few of those, and it finances the whole thing.
Yeah, you get a tire off of those.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that was early 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
And I think at some point, did they just sell everything out, or did they
A lot of stuff
junk it?
Some stuff I've heard got junked. I've got a friend who his father was a bigwig at UAW, and tells stories about things. Got to crush it. Got to get it out.
Need the space.
Need the space. There was always lore and stories of at night out the back door. Hey, we're going to crush this. Is leave. No, I'll take that, etc. But yeah, a lot of stuff, and then just went away. I saw it at
completely.
the truck dealership when they would do inventory and run through and go, well, this is obsolete. We don't need it anymore, and then just go to the dumpster.
Yeah.
It was some small stuff. I'm like, someone out there wants that.
Right.
It was clearly on a shelf for a reason, for something. So
Yeah.
there are a few warehouses and business, I think, that did that just same thing. Hey, whatever GM is dropping out, we'll buy.
Yes.
We'll take. We'll yeah.
Well, one of the great ones was Steve Ames at Ames Performance Engineering. That's what he did with Pontiac parts. And his story was he was doing that with Chevrolet stuff, and he'd go to swap meets and sell these things. And he realized that there was 10 people selling the same Chevrolet part, and they're all haggling, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper. But he realized nobody was selling Pontiac parts.
There you go.
So he was the only guy in town, so he could name his price, and that's how that whole business got
Supply and
started.
demand. There we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got a lot of my money.
Yeah. Well, and what's interesting is today, would you even think about buying, except for an engine, any '69 Camaro part from a Chevy dealer?
No.
No. Those days are gone.
Nope. Gone.
Yeah. And there was a time when that's what you did.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
And the year ones of the world and the classic industries of the world didn't really have anything yet.
No.
Man,
Yeah.
that was a cool time to be at a dealership, to be able to
Yes.
build your dream car with stuff that you could one piece at a time.
One piece at a time. Yes. Yes.
What was the drive line in that Camaro?
Standard issue 350 turbo, 10-bolt rear. Had mono-leaf springs at first, and then we put some multi-leafs in it. Still had drum brakes on it, though. It was a nice car. Externally, we just didn't go very far with it mechanically. But still, steering brakes, air, decent car. By today's standards, pretty much run-of-the-mill. Back then, I mean, that was, and I was 8.
Yeah.
The thing was awesome,
Sure.
know? So,
Well,
100%.
isn't
Yeah.
it funny that you say by today's standard it's run of the mill and we're 30 years on,
yeah.
35 years on. And the reason why it's run of the mill is because the aftermarket is so strong.
Absolutely.
So that would have been a special car because it was all GM.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And he had the special GM, high-rise intake manifold on it, and I did get a replacement set of NOS valve covers. The Chevrolet Performance ones from back when it was Chevy Power.
Yeah.
But it said, had bow tie on it, then Power. Found a set NOS in the box at a swap meet.
Wow.
So when I buy this car and I build it, I've already got the valve covers in the 1982 Chevrolet boxes.
Already on your way.
I think your boy Dale used to run those.
Yes. Yes, in fact. Yep. They're even tall, so they put the big rockers.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Well, and it's so interesting because here we are today, and 2 days ago, as a matter of fact, a 67 Camaro shows up at our shop. And this is I love everything about this car. You and I haven't talked about this car.
We have not.
You and I did a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's a 67 legit RS SS 350, custom interior, console, gauges, the numbers matching 350 under the hood. It was born with a Turbo 400. It's a Los Angeles car.
Okay.
Currently has a factory appearing 4-speed. It was originally butternut yellow. Now it's black. It had a yellow trim coat interior, which in 67 in an RS SS, I don't know if it was just the sides, the painted parts were yellow. I don't think the seats were. Like in a 69, you could get that Daytona yellow houndstooth that was insane. But it came with the black vinyl top. And now it's triple black. And the customer lives in California. And his story was that him and his brother would cruise around in this car when they were in high school. And unfortunately, his brother passed away and the car disappeared. And for our customer's 40th birthday, his wife found this car again and reclaimed it and bought it back. And he's been kind of tinkering with it a little bit, and he sent it to us. And the first thing out of his mouth, and I'm a little biased. I mean, I've lived here in the Midwest. I've lived in California, and I've had these conversations with people like your buddy David Freiberger, who find a quarter-sized piece of rust on a car out there and say it's junk, And it's like, no. In the Midwest, if there's a quarter-sized piece of steel left, we build it
from there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So the customer was on the phone with Joe, our customer service and sales guy, saying this thing's kind of rusty. So if we need to rebody it, that's fine. I really just want the car again. So we were all. I think you ordered one.
Yeah. Yeah, I ordered it.
You ordered, yeah. So we and what's the lead time?
9 months.
Yeah. Okay.
We've
So
got time.
plenty of time. Don't have the car yet. When the car finally gets here a couple of days ago, I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, no, we can't do this.
No.
This car is not.
It's too nice.
It's not that rusty, first of all. And we have not spoken with the customer about this yet. So if he's a listener, he's going to find out from me first that I don't think that's the right course of action, because this thing is all GM original stuff. And the trunk floor is a little rusty, and it's got a few things here and there.
Bubbles under the vinyl top.
Yeah.
Which is to be expected with a vinyl top car, but
Yes.
it's not so far gone. They're not all throughout the roof structure.
No, and it was repainted obviously in the black color.
Right.
And it's interesting because West Coast cars rust from the top down, especially if they're near the beach. They get the sun all the time and they get the salty air.
Okay.
Right? So the bottom, you can wipe it with a towel and it's shiny black paint. But the top side, and this one kind of has some of that. So I'm sure it's got some surprises in it. So I was looking at this thing and we're like, wow. And the doors are like, they close real nice and everything. And I decoded the VIN and the trim tag and came up with the color scheme. And I know that this customer, his mission is clearly to recapture that experience he had with his brother. So it's going to have to be identical to what it was at that period.
Right.
Even though I'm thinking how stunning a butternut yellow, black vinyl 67 RS SS, it would be.
Yeah.
Because nobody leaves them those colors.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
it would be pretty amazing. So I'm looking at this car. We're taking pictures and everything. There's a photo gallery on our website at v8speedshop.com. You can see it for yourself. And I went over to Sarge in our warehouse department and said, he helped the guy unload it when the transport came. And I said, do you know anything about that Camaro? And he's like, no, sir, just looking at it from when it came off the truck. And I told him what I just told you about what it is. And he goes, you know what's funny? I said, what? He goes, my dad had a 67 RS SS 350 butternut yellow black vinyl top, black interior car, and he painted it black.
There we go.
That's nuts.
It was the same thing.
Yeah.
And so Sarge laughs and he goes, and he said, my dad eventually sold the car and bumped into the guy that bought it from him some time period later. And the other guy says, yeah, this is a nice car, but I'm gonna put everything all right back to original. And Sarge's dad said, well, then you got to paint it yellow. And the guy goes, what?
I don't want to be yellow.
Yeah, but again, that point of there's everything, especially for Camaro, is available today. So that's just a weird parallel to me, that a car in the 90s that was, something really special today might not be, just because of all the new stuff. But if you dig a little deeper, who knows?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was looking at that car today, and you can still see some spots that still have the original yellow on it, like on the A-pillars, the bottom side of the A-pillars. And I was talking to John, one of our fabricator, and he was talking about that car, and he says, the way those doors close.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what he was talking about. And I said, what are the hinges all rusty? He's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
They close beautifully. It's worth it just to take a walk over to that car just to open and close the doors. I says, all right on.
Well, and it's a great car to look at as far as some of the nuances that you don't see in the reproduction panels and parts. Like when you open the door and look at the door jamb side of the quarter panel, the relief stampings, they change over the years. 67, 8, even mid-year on 67, I think that little structural design change. And John, the fabricator, and I were talking about that too, because we've got another 67 that's got like everything new on it.
Right.
And it doesn't have that stuff. So it's always neat to be able to see those things. And we got off a little bit of a tangent on this car, but again, having your dad be at that Chevrolet dealership all those years, did you guys do more than just the Camaro over the years?
Did the Camaro, and then again, he graduated in '69, so that was his car that he wanted, when he graduated there. His second car was a maroon '65 Impala SS 327 4-speed car.
Nice.
Cool.
That again, that wanted to recapture with a white interior.
Love it.
So so about the time the Camaro was finished, and he swore off ever doing another one. I think he said it was 6 months later, he found an Impala.
Yeah.
In a barn. The guy, again, semi-local car. This is a white on white on white vinyl top.
Wow.
Yes. Power window.
It's like driving a leisure suit.
Yes.
That's awesome. Triple white.
Yes. SS 396 car.
Man.
Yeah.
Holy cats.
Again, didn't pull that one off the frame, but this was one that he's like, yeah, I can't do the white on white on white. So pulled the vinyl top, painted it the original maroon. I recall he tweaked, or had his local buddy, it was the body and paint guy, tweak the color just a hair and maybe put a little more metallic in it, because it's a beautiful color. But again, had to put the white interior. So yes, we went back with the white, and the interior was stunning. And
I love white interior.
It was a stunning interior, and that's the car that again, 396, 3.25 horse, turbo 400, 273s in a 12 bolt with the wire spoke hubcaps, the right stuff on 14s, T3 headlights, yeah. So that was that car, and that's actually Kyle's unicorn. That I'm hunting a Camaro as much as he's hunting an Impala.
So both of those cars are long out of the family.
Yes. Yeah. Have the VINs, did a quick search, didn't find anything, but the family's been warned. If we find them,
they're going to get got.
They're coming home.
You used to live in a house. Now we live in a Malibu. So
now we live in a white interior.
Yes.
We don't live in Malibu. We live in a Malibu.
Yes.
Honey, we're going to do some interior decorating. It's all turning white.
So, but yeah, that's the one that got away in his world there. So. Again, the search is on. Like everything's expensive now, but that's in his Craigslist. Wow, his marketplace. Hey, what's here? All right, so that one. Then we went into a C3 Corvette, a lovely '79 L48 4-speed car that was metallic brown.
Ooh, yes.
That's exactly the reaction I had too. Which is where my quote-unquote love for C3s comes from. Yes.
Big quotes there.
Yes. Corporate Blue 350, yeah, so that came and went. And then he went into, after that, he got a maroon Monte SS. So we had 3 in the family at one point. He had a maroon and then 2 black Monte SSs. And after that, he might have bought a 98 Camaro with an LS1. So I don't know what.
We don't talk about that.
But I don't. Maybe it was the 2nd or 3rd or 4th year by then. Who knows? But anyway,
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Yeah. But yeah, so we had a few, again, Super Chevys, just doing power tours. My goodness. We've talked about this before, how you and I have crossed paths multiple times over the last 2 decades and didn't know it, etc.
Yeah. Both at the same event, both at the same
event.
Yeah.
The infamous 99 power tour. I'm sure we were within feet of each other at multiple times in Nashville. So, yeah. But yeah, I love this industry, for 20 years I've been wanting to go to big events, and this place has allowed me to hit some true bucket list places,
SEMA, amen.
SEMA, PRI, my goodness,
Triple Crown of Rotting.
Triple Crown's amazing. Absolutely. If you're in the area, go. It's worth it.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah. All those are. McCacken,
Yep.
So as a guy who went from being in the industry to then being more in the enthusiast performance side of the industry, right? So from the truck shop to this, muscle car shop, it wasn't as dramatic as Mr. Q, who became an industry guy, leaving the office technology world.
Yeah. Boy, howdy. Woo.
But I mean, what was that transition like?
That transition was a different world, different customer base. Again, when a vehicle at any dealership, any car, truck, you name it, dealership, vehicle gets towed in, the customer, it doesn't want to be there. They're not happy. Hey, hello, insert pronoun here. How are you doing today? Well, I'd be better if I wasn't here. It's usually the very first interaction you get.
Yeah.
Where here at a hot rod shop, a restoration shop, most of the time the customer comes in, or even potential customer, and they're there because they want to be.
For sure.
Yep.
Everybody does.
That's, they're actively trying to, give you money for your goods and services because they want to be there. Right. They want to do business, and they can't wait to be and see and what can you do for me, right, and share their dream. You know, and so yes, absolutely 100% different customer base.
Yeah, it's a great way to look at it. Even if it's something small like turn these screws on this carburetor or a full resto, this is not something that people are, if they feel like they're forced into. They don't need this car to get to work tomorrow.
Amen. Yes.
Ice cream melting on the truck.
Yes.
So what do you find? Because I've spoke about this in the past that's a good and a bad thing sometimes, because our customers are all looking to us for their passion, their leisure time, their fun time, let's talk about car time. And then you're looking at this giant list of parts that you got to find and get ordered. And for you, it's quote unquote work, but it is.
This is still a business. Yes. Kelly reminds that a lot. It's still a business. And absolutely. So, I'm very thankful we have our customer base to allow us to do this.
For sure.
Absolutely. Tell our customers that as much as I can. Thank you for allowing us to do this. This is what I wanted to do, man. I want to be in this industry all my life. At the dealership, I was trying to find ways I could get myself into SEMA by we're in. No, it didn't work at all. So, no, just give me a badge. That's all I need. Anyway, but yeah, the customers here, they want to share their experience and their story, so we can help them out, and upgrade or maintain or bring back a vehicle from a hibernation, not dead, just hibernation. So it's not just all restoration, all full. Let's put an order history. Let's do everything, and we'll see you in X amount of months or years. We've had multiple customers that come in that share their story and go, hey, this was my relative's vehicle. It's been sitting for decades. Can you make it operational? I understand it needs paint and it has a little rust here, but can you make it operational so I can let my kids go for a ride?
For sure.
And I can take my grandkids and keep continuing. I'm like, heck, yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes.
I bet it was probably a 0% chance that back at the truck shop, somebody came in and said, "This rig used to belong to that guy on the other side of town. You knew him. Everybody." No, nobody cares where this rig came from.
No one cares. It's ever since you did this to it 42 years ago, now the taillight doesn't work. What are you going to do? I got to load. Yeah. Yes. So but it is very nice to, one of the comments when I came in, is you all said, we don't have a customer waiting lounge. There's no, you're not going to come in for a quick oil change, and end up fixed out and real fast here. Nothing gets done that fast. We're not doing just, quick. And occasionally someone will come in for a quick adjustment or something. We have local customers that, we take care of them, obviously. But
it's not that we don't want to be accommodating to our customers. It's just it's not something you wait to get your car painted.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Correct. Yeah. So it was just it's a culture change, really, and just customer base, et cetera. And looking back, I realized that some of the previous industry customers could still be our customers after the 9 to 5 was over.
For sure.
Because we have some from I own this company or I do this. Oh yeah, okay. But this is the fun stuff. So I mean, it's just a light switch change. So
they're different people.
They're different people after hours. Yes. So it's a good time. This is fun, and the long string of parts. This is working with Trevor, working with technicians, looking forward, prioritizing. If we're taking something apart and it's going to get everything, let's get the one that's almost done. We got to have this. It's supposed to leave, because it's got to make power tour. It's got to do this. It's going to go to SEMA. Let's get that wrapped up. But it's one bite at a time. Just do it. And thankfully, again, I was talking to another industry person here with a major manufacturer today, and we were talking about power tour. He's looking to do it, maybe not in his own vehicle. So,
nice.
Hey, looking for a ride, etc. But it's nice to have that relationship with these vendors, these manufacturers.
Yes.
And it is amazing that these manufacturers and the people that work there are as open and as honest and welcoming, etc. So that's one of the best parts is the people you meet, even within the industry. Not even at a car show, but the people that make the brakes and the fuel injection and all of these. These are the industry people that you go, okay, we're going to do this. The customer wants to do this. I'm not sure what components I should be using. Can you help me? Oh, yeah. What are you trying to do? And, this.
Here we go.
Oh, well, you can do, we offer this, or we're coming out with this, or, oh, my, you'd be the first. So, yeah.
Well, so that is a great point that I don't think we appreciate as much, because if you called, the local parts store that is selling replacement parts, brake pads and light bulbs, and say, hey, what do you recommend? Because we're going to be putting this, customer wants to do this, and it's never been done before. That's not their world. They're going to be like,
two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive.
Right. Ask
your photos.
Yes.
Ask you the question, and maybe if we have something that you're going to use in this, maybe, but because we've been able in this automotive enthusiast industry, we've been able to really sidestep reality in so many ways and carve out a little space for ourselves that when you call, I remember vividly calling Rick Love at Vintage Air once. And
great guy.
He is a great guy. He's a great friend. I had the distinct pleasure of inaugurating him into the SEMA Hall of Fame. And one time, many years ago, I called him about an air conditioning question for a car. And after a 45-minute phone call, I hung up the phone and realized we didn't even get to that.
Nice.
We were talking about a power tour and being on the road and, all these things. And you don't get that. I try to, ask other people that work in different industries, do you get that if you sell dental appliances? No, we don't care. We just, where's my check? I just want to get this sold and out of here. But in this, and I understand that there's parallel universes with, things that people are enthusiastic about. And my recommendation is if you're into something and you can figure out a way to do it for a living, it's a double-edged sword. Because are there times when Brian and Cue Ball, both parts guys, that you go home and not open the Summit catalog and say, I can't look at parts anymore? Or?
I don't look at parts. I usually go to YouTube and find a channel or two that I watch or
Yeah,
follow,
same,
etc.
same.
Okay, what are we doing here? You know, what are the no prep guys doing here? What are we? What schedule's coming up? Where's the Good Guys Hall of Fame tour going? You know, just those things, etc. I have
keep you immersed in the industry.
I have notched down definitely my vehicle show watching.
Have you?
Call it the false reality versions.
Oh,
the false
yeah.
drama ones.
Yeah.
And my wife is very thankful. She's like, I don't know how you could even watch that anymore. Well, I live it every day.
Yeah.
You know, and
I curtailed off of those shows a long, long time ago, and when I first stumbled on VATV, I was shocked at how honest it was in comparison to those manufactured, reality shows. And it was a real eye opener. I'm like, here's a guy who has a shop, he's using these products, he's telling us what he's using, but he's using them on his customer vehicles. It needs to work. Versus, somebody else on Shade Tree Mechanic, hawking the Tornado because
You went there.
he did. Because they were paid to do it.
Our apologies to Jay Kim.
Sorry.
Again, who I've interviewed far too many times.
wow.
So, and that was a huge difference, and then that just
Yeah.
really soured me on all those kinds of shows.
Yeah.
Well-
The relatives have asked
Because
me.
it's a
said,
product placement show, is what it ended up being.
yeah,
I definitely appreciate that because that was the whole mission. And at the time when I was producing Hot Rod TV, Tornado was a sponsor, and I got the edict from on high that I have to go interview this guy at one of the trade shows. It might have been PRI, and I'm looking at this thing, and he's doing this example of taking the 2-liter bottles of juice, and you flip it over and look, and it spins, and it goes one to the other. And I'm like, well, hydrodynamics are different from aerodynamics, but we're not even going to go there. But now all of a sudden I got to be the guy that's like, I'm not going to sell this for you. I don't really, this ain't my thing. So when we started VATV, that was the point. It was like, people need to know what to use.
Yes.
And need to know how or
100%.
what or why. And I'm not going to tell you maybe not to use something, but I'm going to tell you if it worked, what I used.
Absolutely.
And that's how we got started. So the nice thing is that other different businesses, Year One's a great example. They're like, we like the way you share that stuff. Let's work together, and both of you guys got to step into that circle that, Kelly and I kind of opened up a little bit.
Absolutely.
And move into. So that's, I would hope and I would imagine that it's been fairly welcoming on both sides.
Oh yeah. Yep. You go to a trade show or anywhere, and you see
Yeah.
the logo, and they're like,
Oh.
where's Kevin?
You know Kelly?
I work for her, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
You can't go more than 10 feet without somebody stopping to talk to you through a show floor.
Yeah, and that's true, and it's really cool because if I was going there to cover the show, it's a different story.
I can believe that.
And in my earlier days, like the SEMA show, for example, I'd be there with scheduled interviews, going booth to booth, and talking to people along the way. There just wasn't enough time, to do it all. But today, I'm so fortunate that enough people like what we do, and we've met these people, and like our friend Mark that has been listening for all this time, and he actually sent in a picture of us at McCacken.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed in that picture, if you look in the background, what's in the background. But you're in the background, Brian's in the background, and Trevor's in the background.
Really?
Yeah, there's V8 shirts in the background, not placed, just happened to be there.
Oh, wow. I'll have to take another look at that. That's cool.
But again, I always tell that story of my friend Paul Cuniff, who is with Freeman, which is the company that does the logistics moving in and out of the SEMA show and other events all over the world. And he's like, the SEMA trade show, because of the automotive thing, is just such a different dynamic. Everybody's friends and bumping into each other, and you might not even make it to the booth, because like you see in the hallway, and those conversations that I have in the hallway are generally the most productive time of the year, And I asked Paul, I said, could you imagine like being at like a dental appliance show, do they have this kind of vibe? And he goes, no, my wife does that show. It sucks. I'm like, oh boy, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, it's cool that it all kind of came around and you landed where you are supposed to be. So that's good. We appreciate that. When you are, and well, both you guys on the parts side, we do this business a little differently, I think, from a lot of shops. Getting back to the NHRA trivia question of that mindset or that stereotype of a hot rod shop where it's a guy who's answering the phone and trying to work on the car and throwing wrenches and all that stuff. That's kind of what we don't want here.
Right.
So I also know that this business is hammered down to the floor all the time.
It is. It is.
So is there, I guess looking for a little feedback of in the daily pursuits of trying to find this stuff for people and all that coordination that you're talking about, the parts car Tetris games of getting just in time, right place, right time. Maybe we all need to go to Toyota and watch what they do. They seem to be the ones who figured that out.
We're building more than one car, though.
Everything's different, yeah.
But yes. Yeah, it is. It's a daily challenge. Trevor and I work pretty well together.
Yep.
Hey, what's on tap, what's here, what's coming, etc. So he can get chart out and go, okay, this is coming here, technician here, and try to pre-plan a bunch. So we have as little. I don't know what to do with my hands because this isn't here. And this has got to be
right.
This car has to be done, but we don't have X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I find that we're pretty good at trying to stay ahead of the game in understanding what's coming down the road, what the customer wants, getting the spreadsheet populated with everything he's going to need, getting it here. So when the car does show up, again, my hands are not idle.
Nope, we've got a good start. We've got a plan. The plan's already made, going through. Like everything, every car you find more, you find something during it, and that's when the plan change happens. Like, ooh, we pulled the carpet, and it's not as rust-free as we thought it was. Well, we better address this now.
Get some
but
panels.
Again, this is part of it. This is that
exactly.
part of this is part of the story and what you tell them when they hit the door. Hey, that are beforehand. This is we find more in every vehicle.
Right. I'm sure you probably could not find one example of a car that came in for a restoration that was on plan from start to finish.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's always something that's going to come up.
You find something, you want to upgrade
and not just
something.
a plan change because the customer says, "Oh, well, as long as you're in there, do this." But something that we find that does need to be addressed, like, well, we need floors now. That wasn't part of the original plan.
Floors to address this, massage that. It happens, but again, working together, it all works out. We
It does work out.
Keep on going, and at the end of the day, you got a great product that the customer says, you know what, it's worth every penny. So
it's funny because Kelly, it's funny you say you don't want to be standing there with idle hands. And Kelly never stops moving. And she grew up in an environment where her dad was always, let's go, come on, let's go. What are you doing? Let's go, move on. And there's a very delicate balance between trying to run this business with efficiencies in mind and with planning and strategy and the Gantt charts and all that stuff. At the same time, be a handcrafted, carefully constructed, high quality, bespoke, one of none, specially built for you experience. Right?
Absolutely.
And I think we sometimes, those paths intermix in strange ways where it's like, and at the end of the day, the customer needs to understand that I'm only trying to be, efficient so that you get the best. And inside, the technicians sometimes are like, what's even happening here? Because I got a bunch of different cars and it's structured to where if we have to wait the 8 months for a Dynacorn body to come in the mail, you're not doing nothing. You can efficiently shift somewhere else, and that's where you guys are jumping constantly. So it is kind of a interesting cauldron of two different philosophies that end up rolling down the highway,
Yes, it is. But you working together, and hey, here's what we have. Here's what we can do. I am very much have admitted that I'm a pessimist. Probably not quite as much as you're an optimist, but again, it works out well. But more of I like to have a plan. You hope for the best, but you can plan for the worst. Plan for the worst.
And that's not pessimistic. That's just realistic.
That's
and so the self-help guy in me, which I don't know that there is one, but saying that. But what I've learned is that I've learned to have to be confident with the understanding in the universe that something's going to happen.
Oh, sure.
Without a doubt. And rather than run those scenarios and plan out, what I have to be confident in is that when that thing happens, I can make a decision that's going to be the best at that time. Right?
Fair
So
enough.
we all know that some car is going to need something, some parts aren't going to fit, something's going to break, something might spill a transmission all over the floor. Well, I'm not buying kitty litter to mop that up today because it hasn't happened yet, right? But I know that when that transmission spills all over the floor, I'm going to say, let's get something to clean it up. Let's get Brian and Q-Ball on the phone to get some parts. And that philosophy has released me of a burden of carrying plan Bs and contingencies in my head as I look at everything going, because I'm just like you. I know that thing's going to take a dump. I can see it from here. Right?
yes.
But I've had to train myself to say, well, we're going to talk about that if and when that actually happens. And that has freed me up to focus on the more creative side. So,
Sure.
Good stuff.
wow, the show's almost worth it now. There was some value in there.
There is lots of value.
Those 39-second guys missed out.
They sure did.
So, how long has it been now since you've been here?
August of 20, so we're getting ready to go for
Almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Right on. Goes by fast.
it. Absolutely does. Absolutely.
And August of 20 was COVID
Yes.
full steam.
Steam. Yes.
And that's when parts were getting ordered, and they weren't getting made.
Correct.
Yeah.
We can order it, and
You may not get it.
I've asked a lot of vendors. Okay, timeline. Are we talking weeks, months, or I don't know? Just tell me the truth. That's all I can ask for. Just tell me the truth, what you know, and we will accommodate from there.
Well, unfortunately, that in some situations we're still digging out from
Sure.
that. But that has left a condition on us that deal in parts and things that we expect long-term stuff. And last week, our friend Bruce Kuchar from Modern Driveline came to visit, and we're talking about Tremec TKX transmission conversions and clutches and bell housings and all the stuff that they do. And I said, so if I was going to order a TKX conversion for a 65 Mustang today, he's like, week and a half. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Right?
That's insane.
Yep.
And that's just how it used to be. So he's pretty much back to quote unquote normal. But all of a sudden that can become stressful when it's like, so that means I need to have all the rest of the things around that project in-house at the same time. And if it can happen that fast and the customer knows it can happen that fast, can we make it happen that fast? It's funny, just the regular speed is now fast.
Yes. Yes. When a vendor says, "Oh, I got it in stock," or "I can have a couple days," well, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Yes, please, and thank you.
Yeah, it's almost a shocker.
It is.
Because now we're conditioned. It's like, oh, yeah, my car broke. Well, that's going to be 6 months.
Move.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm appreciative of the efforts that both of you guys do. The parts thing, you got to know a lot. You got to know about them. You got to know where they are. You got to know people. I think one of the greatest stories was when I got the van almost a year and a half ago, and I was looking for a very specific wheel, and I found this set of wheels.
Oh, yeah.
The guy in Michigan had the wheels, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, man, I got to ship wheels from Michigan. And Brian's like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, I know this one dude who lives near there, and he's got this other thing, and next thing you know, they're in the back of your truck, and we're handing them off at the PRI show in Indianapolis. And I'm like, how'd this even happen? And it's because you're in the network. You're in the groove, so...
Shout out to Sky Riley King. Appreciate that, buddy.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do too. They were the right wheel. They looked great. Transport was super smooth. So
You
thank
look
you.
great on that van.
Well, once they got,
Yeah.
reconditioned.
They cleaned up and nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
They really pop.
Yeah, and that's what it takes. So, All right. Well, I know everybody's really waiting. The 39-second listeners are all excited about our trivia question answers
They tuned back in.
We
so
had a
thank
triple
you.
threat here.
All right, Brian, what do you got for us?
Okay. The acronym NHRA, in fact, is the National Hot Rod Association.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding, ding. Ba, 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 ba.
And I'll flip around here. By who? Yes, it was Mr. Wally Parks. Okay. Here we go. When was it formed?
Dun, dun, dun.
1951.
51.
Yeah.
Yep. And the bonus.
Man.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
The purpose. To create order from chaos.
Oh.
Which was,
Godlike.
Yeah.
which was instituting rules and standards that helped legitimize the sport.
There you go.
Right there.
Yeah, that's the man right there.
Well, you said that too. I said it was to make money.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
Legitimately, yeah.
Well, sitting right behind you on the coffee table is a magazine called How to Hot Rod Your Car from 1952. And if you look on the cover, who's one of the authors?
Oh, nice.
Wally Parks.
I'll be darned.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we got half a point.
Yeah, half point each. I'll take that. I mean,
right.
my record lately has been pretty abysmal, so I'll take the half point.
We had the idea the other day to maybe we'll do our own first coffee table book of nothing but VA radio trivia. So we
How
might
about that?
we got to have our friend Mr. Yardley
Yardley.
accumulate all of our trivia questions and write a book for
You know
us.
what? He doesn't. Well, he doesn't. He isn't doing that now. He only records the wins and losses.
I know he's a statistician. We're growing him.
Yeah, we are growing it.
He has an
You hear that,
English.
Yards?
He's got an English major.
Come on, Yardstick.
He
You got this.
He is a writer.
$1 on Corvette trivia is the most often asked.
And no more Frank Jurier.
ever again. I milked that cow for all the milk it's gone.
3 teats of Jurier milk. It's-
Fully pasteurized.
yeah.
All right. I asked you fellas, in what model year did the Camaro get the all-new LS engine? And Brian said 1998. And Kevin also said 1998. And congratulations, you boys, you're both a couple of winners. 1998 it is. Woo!
Right
The
on.
Corvette got it in 97. Corvette got it, or Camaro got it in 98, and other makes got it in 99.
So that would have been the trivia question. So did the Firebird got it in 98 also?
Yes.
Yeah.
Likely, yes.
Fourth gen or F body came out. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So
Trucks were 99.
Trucks
with the
were
new
99.
bodies. Yep.
yeah. Very interesting. Okay, so I asked you guys, what was the first all-wheel drive car?
Yeah.
And Mr. Bryan said something that could fit right in the Jay Leno collection with multiple chains.
All chain drive.
1917 Cadillac, and that was your Price is Right $1 answer. Mr. Cueball, you said the 1911 Pierce Arrow. Well, I like where you guys are thinking, but unfortunately,
Oh,
the very first AWD car ever built was the 1900 Lohner Porsche. It was designed by a very young Ferdinand Porsche for Ludwig Lohner and Company, and has the distinction of being the very first hybrid ever built as well. An
It was
electric
electric.
motor in each wheel hub
yes.
was powered by batteries, which received their charge from an onboard gasoline-powered generator. So all these people thinking that this stuff's new, it's not. And they figured out back then, I don't know, didn't work that great, I guess, because we didn't know anything about it. So that was that. So
Yeah, I was almost thinking electric too.
yeah,
In the trucking museum in Iowa, the I-80, they've got an electric truck, looks like it's from the Stone Age, and it is early.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
like, I thought that thing was all-wheel drive as well. Like, well, I don't remember what it was, where it was. So that's why I went old, but it clearly wasn't old enough.
Yeah, not old enough. Same.
Yeah.
well, you know, the problem that they had with those really old trucks back then, those old electric trucks, is they had a supplier issue. They couldn't get the big touch screen in the middle.
Yeah.
The big Tesla thing. They couldn't get them. So those trucks just went away.
Yeah. Went away, yeah.
Yeah.
120 years ago.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Moving on.
Moving on. All right. Well, this was fun, friends. Brian, appreciate you joining us. Finally, it's been too long.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Brian.
Great time.
If you survived, we'll have you on again anytime.
Good deal. Good
See,
deal.
this wasn't so bad, was it?
I can see a me and Trevor episode on the same time.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
And we will.
That would be awesome.
We will just berate you with all kinds of
Oh,
great
I
things.
know. I'll just get all peppered with everything.
I'm going to give you a cam spec question.
You'll be getting Yardley texts in at the same time.
Well, I'll break out the big guns then. All right?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the best, glue to use on a balancer? We're going to bring it all.
Oh, that would be the right stuff.
Shots
That's
fired. Look at that. Nice. Or, what motor mounts to put an LS in a GTO.
And I'll have you know that balancer is still holding strong.
That's good.
You've driven to, 12 miles now?
At least 15. So thank you, sir.
Well, we had talked on a previous episode about our little spring road trip we made last year. Our buddy Good Time Jimmy and his
Good Time
Bronco,
Jimmy.
and Paul with his 62 Buick, and you with the GTO, me with the Galaxy. Maybe we'll rope you and Kyle in.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
We can get Trevor. We can get a whole bunch of people to go do a day trip somewhere.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm down.
The Powerless Tour. All right. Well, if you enjoyed this episode and you want to hear more of them, hit that subscribe button, because just like magic, a new one will appear in your inbox or your device or alerts. You know how it goes. And we're happy to provide more episodes as we create them. Always, you can check out all the cars we talked about on v8speedshop.com, or if you're one of those people who said, hey, I have something I need something done to, reach out, v8speedshop.com. You can fill out a form, tell us all about it, and we'll get back to you. And who knows, maybe we end up building your dream car. How about that?
I am not our customer.
Well, but we're helping to build your dream car, regardless.
Appreciate that. All right, let's do it.
There you go. So for Mr. Brian Wibbenmeyer and Mike Q-Ball Clark, I'm Kevin Ostie, reminding you to keep the shiny side up. And as Brian points out, they sometimes are only grandpa mobiles for a short period of time. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on VA Radio.